So here's a question for you. What if AI actually kills the open web? It basically hoovers up all of our important brand, blog, news, redundant, SEO inflated informational fluff and starts to build dynamic websites to present it all back to us. What if AI kills the informational website? And if that happens, what's left? And more importantly, what will you as a marketer build when every fact, summary, and how to becomes a commodity visualization in Google search results? Yeah, let's talk about that. So every few years, the internet loves a funeral. Blogs were dead, email was dead, snail mail was dead, social media was dead, and in 2010, brand websites were supposedly next on the chopping block because, Facebook had swallowed the universe. Build everything here, the platforms told us. Wired magazine pronounced the open web dead. The platforms asked earnestly, why bother with all that complexity of maintaining your own website when the audience is already here with us? Build a Facebook page. So some brands did pack it up. They packed up their digital belongings and moved in like college kids crashing in your basement. And almost instantly, yeah, nothing happened. Except, all right, organic search on those platforms collapsed, algorithms rearranged the furniture, visibility evaporated, and every brand realized, shocker, that when a giant company tells you to build on their land, your long-term stability might not be their top priority. You see, the death of the open web didn't happen. It just got clarified again and again and again. And wouldn't you know, history is starting to repeat itself, this time with AI. So Google Gemini, AI overviews, dynamic search visualizations. The fear is familiar, but it's now, of course, cranked up to existential levels. Not traffic might slip kind of existential, more like is my business model melting existential. Because if Google can generate entire mini websites, diagrams, infographics, and summaries right inside search, well, what's left for your actual website to do? That's the real reason everybody feels so queasy right now. Not because AI is answering questions, but because it's doing it so cleanly that, well, the open web starts to feel kind of optional. So let's pull this apart, starting with what AI really threatens when it comes to our website. So we start with the statement, yes, AI might kill the informational web. There's a part of the web that AI is absolutely gunning for, and that's the informational layer. This is the layer that we've been building for years. It's built on explainers, definitions, commodity facts, what is, how to, top 10 tips, basically the entire diet of SEO content we were all bludgeoned by Google into producing for the last 15 years. But that layer was already rotting. Clickbait farms, misinformation, endless rewrites of the same 5 paragraphs, ultimate guides written by someone who learned the topic 12 minutes earlier. It is, and still is, fragile, redundant, and low trust. And AI doesn't destroy it so much as expose how flimsy it's always been. Think about it. If AI can instantly synthesize a tidy, illustrated summary of how to reset your washing machine, why would anybody click on your customer service manual link? This is why the early traffic declines are already starting to hit things like Wikipedia-style repositories, news sites built on aggregation, SEO factories, generic brand brochure sites. AI doesn't need to be brilliant to replace these. It just has to be fast, tidy, and good enough. But that distinction, it matters. AI can replace information surfaces. It cannot replace interactive experiences or the relationships built on those interactive experiences. And the moment you can see that dividing line, we can start to see an opportunity. See, here's the thing. If AI is flattening shallow information, what's left is the part of the web that it can't reach, the functional, interactive, identity-driven layer. And underneath all of that sits one word we continue to pretend is fuzzy, but it really isn't. That's trust. But that brings us back to the decay of the open web. You see, we humans trust information more when it's simply easier to process. Research called this processing fluency. Your brain confuses, I understood that quickly, with this must be true. So when AI packages everything in its tidy little visualizations, which of course it will have to do because it has so much information to visualize, well, everything from your medical symptoms to mortgage options to Julia Roberts' filmographies, it'll all be in that same smooth style of visualization. People are going to start trusting all of it at the same level. That becomes our opportunity. When everything sounds equally credible, the experiences that require real interaction become more valuable, not less. AI can show you how a mortgage works, but it can't approve your mortgage. It can remember how you adapt to how you pull into a co-creation model, but it can't build that co-creation model for you. For example, Lego makes an amazing site called Lego Ideas where customers actually co-create products. That visualization won't happen in AI. AI can't host your community that actually matters. It can't replace the emotional pacing of a well-crafted story. And because AI can't simulate human memory, state, permissions, or personal identity, the web that will survive is inherently functional. Things you can do, not just things you can read. This surviving layer includes commerce and fulfillment, personalized tools, communities, learning experiences that require nuance, not just bullet points, applications that get better once a user is known, storytelling where intention and craft matter. Basically, the parts of the web that can't be flattened without losing their soul. Think of it this way. AI can visualize Beethoven's violin concerto into sheet music or even replicate it with AI, but it cannot give you Itzhak Perlman's performing it. That brings us to a big fear that is also a big paradigm shift that we have to make and that is also driving the worry that the open web is being killed. In one word, traffic. So yeah, if AI consumes the informational layer, traffic will continue to decline, not just for informational sites, even for the functional good sites. The classic open web formula of publish content, earn SEO, collect visits, and then convert those visits, that's already broken. In an AI overview world, the click becomes optional. Said more simply, even if you built the most stunning, interactive, deeply functional destination tomorrow, you're still going to feel the hit because discovery of that stunning, interactive, deeply functional destination changes. Ranking changes. Traffic becomes unpredictable. But relationships don't behave that way. And that's the shift we have to make as marketers. Relationships aren't built on search. They aren't earned through visibility. They don't evaporate when algorithms shift. They're built through identity, through participation, through membership, through co-creation, and the handful of quality moments where a user does more than just skim your content. So in a world where AI handles the answers, traffic becomes a side effect, not the goal. And that's a massive psychological shift for marketers. So what do we have to do? What do brands have to build next? Well, if AI eats the informational web, brands are left with one wonderfully clarifying question. What parts of your digital presence actually require you? Not your facts, not your brochure, not your About Us page. Those all get flattened. What survives is everything built on you, the interaction, the identity, the choice. Here's maybe a short playbook that you can take forward. One, think about your website as a tool, not a brochure. If customers can't do something, manage an account, configure a product, learn a skill, participate, AI will replace that site with a visualization. Two, build experiences that require identity, logins, profiles, memberships, preferences. AI can mimic information. It cannot mimic the relationship that they have with you. Three, create interactions. AI can't synthesize. Co-create programs, actual communities, human-shaped outcomes. Participation is the last moat. Four, invest in narrative craft again. AI can summarize. It can't build intention, pacing, tone, guided learning, emotional resonance, storytelling. Treat traffic as a bonus, not the business model. That's the last one. Depth over discovery, relationships over reach. Because one way to look at this trend is that the web isn't vanishing, it's once again contracting to the parts that matter. So maybe, just maybe, the next web is smaller, but maybe more meaningful. Tech has declared the web dead at least 30 times in the last 20 years, and it never dies. It just sheds the parts that weren't worth keeping. My bottom line is if AI does end up taking over the informational layer of the web, it's not going to be because it was necessarily better for the open web. I mean, we can look back at history and ask the same question of search and social media. I mean, is the open web better off because of those technologies? Yeah, crack out the bottle of whiskey and let's talk about that at a different time. But if AI does take over the presentation of the open web's information, it will be because that's where the momentum of the industry is heading. And like all those other innovations like search and social media, the industry won't care that much about whether we approve. What we can control is what we build next. And what remains, the only part of the web that AI can't flatten yet, is the work that has always created real value: relationships, identity, participation, and experiences, human experiences that matter. That's your story. So go out there and tell it well. And I'll see you again next week.